Greetings, my friends. I'm Gilles Moncillon. I return to continue to discuss the spiritual ascension path. I'm going to discuss various ideas. Use whatever resonate with you and let everything else go. Of course, that's always that, because the truth is so relative. We have our own truth, yet the truth of the infinite truth of the Creator is only known by the infinite Creator. And yet this is our true nature. So information can flow down as when we get ready for that. And so I'm going to pull a few cards and continue to the highest wisdom is a learning process. To understand, it's all a learning process. We are left to our own device to do whatever we want on this planet, free will, but we all supervise, we are all surrounded by higher intelligence very discreetly, and they don't interfere, but they're always there looking, acknowledging every step of our progress that we make. What we need to understand is the completion of the cycle, to fulfill, to understand what we need to do inside of us. What we need to do is focus on happiness, and joy, happiness. It's very important to let go of everything else, and the outcome will be purification. There is a great deal of purification that is coming, and the more pure we are, the happier we will be. It's not easy in this civilization here to live here, because when we came to this planet, we chose voluntarily, as bizarre as it sounds, to abandon our divinity, to abandon our light, to abandon our abundance, to abandon our security, to abandon our trust, to abandon all those things that constituted our well-being, our spirit being in the kingdom of God. So we chose to, because here it's like the divinity is not recognized, the light is not recognized, security and trust is not that obvious. And but we're moving through a period of time, those 2 years, with this north node of the moon in Taurus, Venus, that is asking to create prosperity, to create independent reality that is prosperous and happy. Those nodes will stay there until mid-23. For we're facing the confrontation of Venus in Venus and then Pluto in Scorpio, the ruler of Scorpio, is really the opposite, the dark and the light, the fear and the love. And so Scorpio Pluto is asking us to change. Are we going to continue the old flow, or are we going to accept certain change that will create the transformation of the physical plane? So because when we came down here, we had some soul plan that we created in the light, but there was no really guarantee. We knew that we came to realize that there was no judgment. If we don't finish, we can always come back, but we didn't have any guarantee that the dark energies that lived on the planet would not interfere with our plans. And so it's like, but now there's been a new decree that's going to change a lot of things. It's already been proclaimed, and so it is about the separation of the dark and the light, because in here the light and the dark were so intertwined that it was impossible for the light to be light, because it was polluted by the dark. But there's going to be a separation of timelines, and for the dark will no longer be able to interfere within the light, and the light is going to be above, and then they're going to be completely unable to comprehend and to even see the light. When the separation of the timeline, the timeline in the light is comfort, is joy, is happiness, and harmony, and the timeline in the dark is chaos and the continuation of the dualistic program. But the memories of darkness are very well anchored within ourselves, not even talking about past life, but just this life. So we have to accept to heal the traumas, to let go and let God, let our true self emerge. Eventually we're going to find complete healing. We're gonna overcome all illnesses. The highest wisdom is possibility. It is very much about new energies. This eagle that flies in the sky, and even though it's very high, you can see so much of what is going on, and we're going to be able to choose. What we need to understand is patience, to let the program unfold, for it is a slow program, but what we need to do is to be love, to be friendliness. Those two trees that are they were lucky enough to be planted next to each other, so they can spend their whole life loving one another. So it's like love is the key, love is the answer, and the outcome is silence, the great prophet. It's to find peace and silence, and For it is within silence, if we can silence our mind, slow down our mind. We have to understand that the light exists independently of darkness. There is those realms. I'm only to understand what I'm talking about, one have to accept that there are other planes of reality in the universe that are completely unknown in the material sphere. So there is countless spheres of heavens and dimensions, so the light exists without darkness, but darkness cannot exist without light, because darkness is a creation of the light for gross purposes. But so wherever there is darkness, there has to be light as well, and throwing a light into the darkness will make the light shine. And so, so within the light there is no darkness, but within the darkness there's always the presence of the light. So just remember that when we're facing darkness, because we do have to face the darkness that comes from within ourselves. What is darkness within ourselves is those part of ourselves, those part of our life, those part of our perception that where there is not an obvious overwhelming love for ourselves, or for situation, or for memory. So it's about filling it with love and letting it go. Have the gratitude for the release and say goodbye to those fears forever. This is really what we need to do, is to move into the next level. The highest wisdom is the yin. It's about allowing things to unfold naturally without having to force anything. Everything will come. The fruits will come at the right time, in the right place, in the right moment. What we need to understand is milk and honey. Those things. What is it that makes you feel good? What is it that your soul aspires to achieve? So just continue to focus on those things that makes you feel good. What we need to do is to be flexible, because there's still a time of cleansing, and still there is many disclosure that haven't happened yet. And so just remain flexible, and the outcome is this great love, the soulmates. This great love, this heavenly connection. And so I also wanted to discuss the nature of the sun. The sun is known as Helios here. Helios and Vesta, or Soul. But from a galactic plane, it's often referred to as Solaris, Solaris. And the sun is the instigator of life in every solar system. We do not know that as human civilization, but the sun is both a consciousness, a singular entity, and there is countless civilization that lives within the sun, higher beings that are manufacturing plans for the evolution of the solar system from within the sun. For if I would say that on mainstream media, they think I'm completely crazy, but I know those realities from within the sun. The first time I was invited, it wasn't really my intention. I was trying to avoid the sun in some space travel. I was two friends. It was in 1992, and I got absorbed within the sun, and from there I could see the earth, and it was like the most amazing vision. It was so beautiful. I saw new colors, because to enter into those starry realm, you have to achieve the 6th dimension or above. But when your frequency match, you'll be eventually the solar beings will descend their frequency to come and talk to us. Yet the sun has when the sun star is created, it creates through intention. And all kinds of plans, and so the planets are being created, and all civilization that swing around the sun. There's countless level of civilization. Star systems are quite rich in civilization above the physical. I mean, the goal is that eventually all beings within the solar systems return to their solar nature, to return to the brightness of the sun, the brightness of the soul. The soul, our sun is the guardian of the collective soul, and it is alimented by the great central sun of our universe, which is God in a sense, singular entity. Yet inside those great central sun, there are countless spirits that are working to assist, to minister the evolutions of the universe, which is quite beyond anything. I don't really know the universe, of course. It's too vast. But I know more than most people, because I've been working with ID's model, a cosmological model of the Urantia book, and I painted that for many years. So I've come through the heart connection, I've been able to integrate all kinds of things. So it's all about changing our perception, changing our glasses. And so eventually we learn to pull out, to breathe the light of the sun, to create a personal connection, a telepathic connection to the sun, and also to other planets as they affect us through many forms, like astrology. For the truth is life in motion. But the truth is very personal. It changes all the time. It evolves all the time. On Paradise, the truth of the eternal God doesn't change. It's infinite, always has been, always will be. But in the universe, the truth is evolving. Even the infinity of the universe is growing and evolving to something far greater. And so it is constant evolution. And we all are part of. Every time a being anywhere in the universe become, let's say, make a choice from believing in mortal life to believing in eternal life, there is something that activates within the cosmic mind that increase it in some level. And so it is important to continue to cultivate this connection to the source. And here we have the card of the day from the Akash is the Father. To me, this card represents the source, God, my Father, my Dad, my Creator. And so know that you have a Creator, and then you can rely on this connection more and more. And I'm going to discuss very briefly also some of the earth plane things. For it is all about not getting involved emotionally in that, and realizing it's all a lot of things that we're going to see was going to be quite unbelievable. A lot of first there's the UFO. Now it's like they do not want to say what they know, but people want to know. And then it's going a lot of major Earth institution will have to be dissolved, other will have to be realigned. For it's like for it is the end of a model. I'm going to discuss that. For the highest wisdom is solid foundation. We need to build a foundation based on love, on brotherhood, on light, on inclusion, on well-being for all, for the planet, for from the principle of inclusion is very powerful. What we need to understand is time of living and get to be ready. We have to prepare ourselves. We're returning to this. Maybe I already pulled some card, no, maybe not with this deck. What we need to do is the faithful heart. We're returning to these soulmate energies that has shown up, and the outcome is the treasure island. And this treasure island is coming. I don't know why this card wanted to come out. It's the card of miracle and blessings as well. So this treasure will be received as something unexpected. There's all kinds of things that the universe have put in store for us. We have to understand the realms of light in the universe are vast and without limit. But we can have some intellectual ideas about that, but it is through the heart that things are being revealed. And there's two things I wanted to discuss. The first one is that the more a being is, we have one being, one life, one mass, one energy. In truth, the whole of creation is only one. But we are created as singular individualized consciousness, like fractal, so to speak. And the more a being is evolved in consciousness, the more its presence is precious to the universe. And yet with that, all life is precious. So we learn to respect life. For instance, I was watching this video that was showing a property in Idaho. I used to live in Idaho. My mother was there, so I was just curious to see what kind of property. And when the realtor walked into the place, there was dead animals all over the place, like dead heads of animals. I said, wow. An animal cemetery. Wow, I wouldn't want to live in an animal cemetery. And that comes to just to say that if somebody hunts because he needs to feed himself, herself, itself, or family, the animal will gladly give his life because he knows your life is more important than his. Yet, if you someone that kill animal for sports is absolutely unacceptable. Will be completely unacceptable in the new age, and there is no excuse for that. The trophies, the sense of power, because you have someone have a machine gun, he can shoot ducks with a machine gun. Is completely insane. But if it's to eat, at least. But there are some hunters that respect nature and balance and do it with the permission of nature, but most of them are completely unaware. Yet there is no judgment from God or from anyone. Just what is karma? Karma is the energetic response for a prejudice to life. So it's not because there is a prejudice to life that karma is going to come knock on the door right away, but it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds, and at some point all soul will need to face that. So it's what forgiveness is also important. Understanding this law of God is infinitely perfect. God is the law, and if God discovered a new way better to do things, he would change. He's not victim of his own perfection. He's a fully conscious being, and so but he knows that his law is perfect, and this repetition of days is the way to go about it. Otherwise he would have changed it. So trust the law. It is infinite perfection, and this law starts with love and ends with love, but in between there is all of the processes of all beings. And so I thought I bring this up. I also wanted to say that about this about some of the things that I'm observing in the world is quite funny. It's like I returned to watch a little bit about this Davos Kabbalist meeting. It's like the official front of the Bilderberg group, the Kabbalists. It's not because someone is very rich and powerful that is part of this snake movement of tyranny and world domination, and it has nothing to do. Some billionaires are completely not involved in that. But there are certain people that are so imbued with power. When you look at Charles Schwab, it's the guy who makes Q-tips, I think. He thinks he's the Führer. He's like my world. It's like, but Hitler had major support from his population. Those guys, he's only got the support of his Kabbalist friends, and so, but. There were certain things that came out that were quite interesting, because they're saying openly. There was this lady, I don't know who she is, but she was talking about the fact that the C-19 was a very huge success. It was extremely profitable, and we're planning new ones because we made so much money with that. We're planning new pandemics. It's like, whoa. And then the president of Pfizer that comes and say, well, how soon we're going to be able to give a pill to someone that's been vaccinated, is going to fuse, and we'll be able to control their mind. It's going to be exciting to have all those power of control. But yet one of their members, George Soros, kind of brought the bad news. He said it's the end of that civilization. They're not talking about the human civilization. They're talking about the globalist plan. For them, it's the end. They know that. He told to everybody else that it is the end. And the first one that actually claimed that was Larry Fink, the boss of BlackRock, who, as soon as the sanction came in from European Union against Russia, he said, I mean, again, I'm not attributing value to those kind of hedge funds, but there's still somebody who's pretty aware. They say with a database, and he can observe all the markets in the world. And he declared that was the end of the globalist agenda, and because of China and Russia. So, like I said, a snake cannot function without his head. Now the head is cut off. It's not gonna last very long, and so this is the end of the world for the mondialist. So do not worry about any of that. It's all. It's all smoke and mirror. They're just trying to convince themselves and others that they're still on track, but it's not going to work out. There's events that are coming, and for also in America, I think the Sisman process, the process of Sisman and the Durham probe may go into shit. Why? Because in America, those in America, they know that justice is a political game. There is Democrat judge and Republican judge. When justice should be impartial, to be just, cannot be a leaning on justice. It's like. But this will be cleared up. It's all those things that coming, everybody, the more, all those dysfunctions are going to become more and more obvious to the collective consciousness, and then we'll be able to change it. Why? Because for this process, this trial is because three jury members are very high contributor to the Clinton campaign, and then there's another juror who's a family friend of that. So it's going to be very hard, but they're not going to be able to get away with anything, because all those affairs are going to there is a whole plan at work that is beyond them, that is very subtle, that is very soft, it's very step by step, and it's all trust in the plan of the Creator for this world, and focus on what you really want for your life. Continue to ask that. And so, well, that's what I wanted to talk about today. So yeah, in the U.S. Senate, they're like grilling those people that are those because now there is like science, democratic science and Republican science. Like the Democrat says they're like vaccine, and the Republicans say freedom to choose. So it's like different approach. Personally, I've always been Democratic side when I lived in America in the 80s and 90s, but now I'm clearly on the Republican side because I have no choice. It's just common sense to stand on against this communist planetary dictatorship they're trying to put in place with their crazy. But it's part of the process. It's part of their dreams, but it will not be fulfilled. Well, I hope you find this message interesting. Continue to laugh, to feel good, to enjoy yourself. Huh? It is very important. It's about finding joy. And I'm going to finish with a song. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And thank you for your donations. If you want a private session, you can send me an email. It's a song that's very spiritual, and it's also to pay tribute to a composer, an evangelist who departed this world. Sometimes when people leave, don't say, "Well, he's dead." Then I envy them because my life is I haven't found this so much. It's like, wow, he's lucky. Huh? He's like finished his mission. Because as soon as we die, we return to the light. If we've been living a life that is directed by the light, of course. Otherwise, we got to face the memory of what we've created. But forgive everybody. Just trust everything in the hands of God and the source of the Creator. For this is where the wisdom lies. So I'm finished with this song. It's a very spiritual song. It's called "I'll Find My Way Home." You ask me where to begin. Am I so lost in my sin? You ask me where did I fall? I say I can't tell you when. But if my spirit is lost, how will I find what is near? Don't question, I'm not alone. Somehow I'll find my way home. Your sun shall rise in the east, so shall my heart be at peace. And if you're asking me when, I'll say it starts at the end. You know your will to be free is matched with love secretly, and talk will alter your prayers. Somehow you find you are there. Your friend is close by your side and speaks in foreign tongue. A season's wish will come true. All seasons begin with you. One world we all come from. One world will melt into one. Just hold my hand and we're there. Somehow we're going somewhere. Somehow we're going somewhere. You ask me where to begin. Am I so lost in my sin? You ask me where did I fall? I'll say I can't tell you when. But if my spirit is strong, I know it can't be long. No question, I'm not alone. Somehow I'll find my way home. Somehow I'll find my way home. Somehow I'll find my way home. This is John Evangelist. The song reminds us we have to keep our spirit, to be strong. We are strong spirit, and to be able to endure a life on the earth at this time, to have chosen this time. It is an act of courage. We are recognized in the universe, regardless of what we go through with questioning and doubts and fear. And those are things because we also ask to assist in the transmutation of energy. So, but yet the more lucid we are, the more as time goes on, we'll become more less affected by the transmutation. We'll be able to transmute it, realizing that it is not personal, it is an energy that we're transmuting. And the card of the day is a brand new beginning. A brand new beginning. It's here it is the Archangel Jeremiel, to start a new life, find a goal with kindness and compassion. Look at your past with kindness and compassion. So it's about letting go of the past and starting to prepare ourselves for this period of freedom and joy and the return into disintegration. The full circle, the return to home, is like, it's really about finding the peace, to find to accept, to focalize this energy, this to connect more, and because there's been layers of conditioning that are preventing from feeling the totality of the experience of love in the heart. And then the heart will the heart chakra will eventually open a door to the sacred heart, the thymus, where the I am presence reside, and then there will be a learning process on how do we worship God, because the love of God is already infinite. How can we love God back in order to receive the confirmation of that love? Can we love ourselves as much as as God loves us? That is the big challenge. Well, thank you very much. Wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Adonai.